Please join me in the chalice lighting word. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
Let us settle into this space and prepare our hearts for worship. Our opening words are from our hymnal number 440, We Bid You Welcome by Richard S. Gilbert. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much for you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome those who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome. We bid you welcome those who enter this time as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Let us worship together. Please raise your voice and spirit in our opening hymn, My Life Flows On.
My life flows on in endless song of earth's lamentation. I hear the rhythm far off here that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth, it liveth. For from the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. The storm can shake my inmost song. While to that rock I'm clinging, since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When pirates tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon bar, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
Two Frogs by Christopher Buse. Once, two frogs were hopping through the forest when they accidentally hopped into a big churn of cream. The sides of the churn were so slick and slippery that there was no place to hold on to, so the frogs had to swim in circles to stay afloat. After a long time, one frog said,
"There is no hope. We're doomed to drown in this chum."
The older frog says, "Don't lose hope. Life is a circle. There are bad times and there are good times, and one must endure the winter to see the spring." The young frog was not so sure what he had said.
"You're wrong. We're going to die, I tell you."
And the older frog said, "We must keep hope alive, for if hope dies, we too will die. But if we keep hope alive, we will live to see another sunrise." But the younger frog was already starting to lose hope, and he began to sink down into the creamy liquid. "Keep hope alive! Keep hope alive!" cried the older one. Then the younger one started repeating slowly at first,
"Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive."
The more they repeated the words, the stronger they felt, and the more strength they had, the better they could swim in circles. As they swam and swam, around and around in circles, an amazing thing happened. They realized they weren't sinking anymore. The cream had turned to butter. The two frogs were able to hop off the butter and out of the churn. They landed on the ground just in time to see a beautiful sunrise. The older frog said to the younger one, "Remember, my son, life is a circle. Despair may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning." And the two frogs hopped away into the woods. Thank you.
Calling on angels, your wings my shelter. Calling on angels, following me. I hear your voices, lifting my spirits, whispering love songs of beautiful dreams. When we're together, we can move mountains, calling on angels, never alone. Raise your hearts in the deep sunrise. All of our fears can be laid aside. Love arrives on magic wings, so live each day like a sacred quest. Calling on angels, your wings my shelter. Calling on angels, following me. I hear your voices, lifting my spirits, whispering love songs of beautiful dreams. When we're together, we can move mountains, calling on angels, never alone. Be here now and for always is, always now. Where we land is a choice we make. Where we fly is our destiny. Calling on angels, your wings my shelter. Calling on angels, following me. I hear your voices, lifting my spirits, whispering love songs of beautiful dreams. When we're together, we can move mountains, calling on angels, never alone.
Accepting This, a poem by Mark Nepo. Yes, it is true. I confess, I have thought great thoughts and sung great songs, all of it rehearsal for the mastery of being held. The dream is awakened when thinking I love you, and life begins when saying I love you, and joy moves like blood when embracing others with love. My efforts now turn from trying to outrun suffering to accepting love wherever I can find it. Stripped of causes and plans and things to strive for, I have discovered everything I could need or ask for is right here, in flawed abundance. We cannot eliminate hunger, but we can feed each other. We cannot eliminate loneliness, but we can hold each other. We cannot eliminate pain, but we can live a life of compassion. Ultimately, we are small living things awakened in the stream, not gods who carve out rivers. Like human fish, we are asked to experience meaning in the life that moves through the gill of our heart. There is nothing to do and nowhere to go. Accepting this, we can do everything and go anywhere.
Since this whole pandemic started, I've connected again with the Facebook world. And recently I saw a post which resonated with today's message. Unfortunately, I forgot to save it. So I'm going to recreate it as best as I can. It was talking about rain and how we all experience rain in our lives. Some experience gentle showers, others experience a rainstorm, and others are in the midst of a hurricane. Now, the rain in this scenario is not about real rain, but instead about what people are experiencing in this time of crisis. And the idea is we know from our experience with weather systems, all of these types of rain can happen at the same time, maybe in different parts of the world, or in our valley, even different parts of the valley. The idea is to understand each of us are being affected by this crisis differently. Some of us are experiencing the discomfort similar to a shower. Some, rainfall, a rainstorm, and some are in the midst of a hurricane. All of these experiences are valid, and none of them can cancel out the other. All can be traumatic, and all require some type of courage to weather through. You are the only person who can determine what your experience is like and how you are being affected. I know for me, it has been a challenge to be working from home with my husband working from home and kids doing online schooling. However, we are lucky because we have the space for each person to work. And we have kids that are pretty self-sufficient in getting their work done. I know our household, like many in our congregation, was affected by the recent decrease in salaries on Confluence, and I know we will be okay because we have resources we can turn to, as well as simple cuts to make that essentially won't affect our day-to-day living. It doesn't mean we aren't concerned. It just means we have some discomfort, similar to a rain shower. What about you? Are you in a rain shower, a rainstorm, or a hurricane? Only you can determine what experience you are having. And your experience can exist and be valid just like anyone else's can. Each of us has been asked to step into our courage and be brave during this time. What this time has also done is to allow us to see more clearly the rain other people are experiencing. And not just in our own communities, but worldwide. We are becoming aware of the disparities in our world from realizing some children won't be fed unless they are at school, or not enough personal protective equipment for our medical professionals. Deb Miller recently shared a story about how the population of high-risk clients her nonprofit serves estimated as many as 80% did not have access to internet service. What does this mean? They cannot access their stimulus checks because you need an email, and they cannot be connected to services they desperately need. Some in our community have the means to connect to the internet, and because they are high risk, need to limit their exposure to the outside world. However, because of limited ability of the stores to accept different forms of payment, they were unable to get their groceries delivered. Local families who have members who work as first responders or in the medical field are being separated from their family members because of the job they do and the risk of infection. And this separation isn't just a few weeks, it's for months. Small business owners are at risk. People are losing their jobs or being asked to take a leave of absence. Retirements are being lost. And once again, we are also reminded of the disparity of race and how communities of color are forgotten and the lack of care they need to survive. All of us have rain we are experiencing. What it has done is heightened our awareness of the rain others are experiencing. And this is a new awareness, and it's calling us to a different type of courage. It's asking us to consider that while we sit in our own pain, in our own rain, we also open up ourselves to other people's pain and their rain. And most importantly, that we don't forget it once it's all over. We are being challenged to redefine what normal is and what we will determine in our communities as acceptable. If this crisis has not brought home to you our seventh principle of the interdependent web, then I challenge you to reflect on what has happened around the world because of a microscopic virus. Look at the climate repercussions. Look at the societal differences. Observe and witness the world right now. It's important. I have preached and continue to preach we are co-creators in our world. We have a choice to really make a difference in what our priorities will be, what our new normal will look like, what we will determine is acceptable in our communities. That little voice that keeps whispering, this is not right. Look at the clean air. What about that person suffering? Look at the community working together. That voice is the voice that's calling you to observe, witness, and step into a new courage that recognizes the reign of all. It's asking us to find ways to turn the rain showers, storms, and hurricanes into sprinkles for all of us. May we be courageous enough to not forget, to step into our bravery, and to do our part. Our prayer is from Maureen Hillerin. Spirit of life, I pray this day for the courage to be humble in the face of inequity and pain, to know the power has been given to me to make a difference, although not to end all suffering or to save all the whales that populate our days. I pray for courage of endurance, to keep acting in the midst of despair, to keep trying in the aftermath of failure, to keep hoping in emptiness that follows loss or change. May courage give me patience. May I ever know love's healing presence at the heart and center of my days. Amen. Please join in voice and spirit in our closing hymn, Now Let Us Sing.
Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within.
Please Join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please raise your hands in the spirit of connection for our closing song.
Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet